Um, Hi, welcome back. I'm Daniel. I'm excited to be here talking to you. So most of you are back from the lunch. I hope it was good. My topic is how Nexus SDV complements selected Eclipse SDV projects. It's quite new, everything. So looks like I'm not on. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So the agenda is very simple. We have something like 5 minutes about Valtech Mobility, Nexus SDV. Some of you know Valtech Mobility, but some obviously not. And then the majority of this talk is about the complementary things about Eclipse SDV. Very short slide about Valtech Mobility and our relationship to Eclipse. So if it's about Valtech Mobility, we are doing connected vehicle for decades and running a huge platform within Volkswagen Group, what you can see. And the most interesting thing about us is that we started as a Volkswagen Valtech joint venture. And now for almost 1 year, we are back with Valtech, a full Valtech company. You see some facts about us, and what's interesting here that we are something like more than 2 years part of our Eclipse community, contributing mostly to U protocol. We build also some things surrounding ThreadX and participating on events like here and also in hackathons, right? So this is yeah. Yeah, I met a guy who have fourth, 2024, we were third, right? Okay, the claim of Nexus is that it's open source and a native connected vehicle platform on Google Cloud, right? So what does it mean? We will see very short. And from engineering point of view, it's a reference implementation designed for software-defined vehicle, obviously, right? We are here on SDV conferences. And it's very, very new, right? And you might wonder, right, Google, what does it mean? So Valtech Mobility and Google are running this collaboration, and it's published as open source project. And the most maintainers and committers of this project are Valtech Mobility guys, right? So you can meet Lars over there, and I'm also part of this project, so we can tell you a lot. And it's published, as you can see, and we have a beautiful documentation that was even developed by myself, right? So you can blame me or give me some credits. What's in for you, right? If you take it as a tool, right? So it's just to give you some context. So there are two things to understand about value of Nexus. So it's in the first release. It's a telemetry stack that starts with a generic protobuf definition you can find on GitHub, and it's leveraging NETs communication. It's also open source project coming from Synadia. And there's an automatic transformation of value into a schema-less database, right? That I call here cloud ECU, right? Because we don't do anything with this data. You have just a copy of the data in the cloud, right? So this is the telemetry stack. What here's maybe even more interesting that we taking here security very seriously, right? As you see our background with the connected vehicle platform that is running millions of vehicles in production. So we implemented here the best practice security for connected vehicle we know and we believe in. So it's what you can see in the second part or in the bottom part of the slide, that there is a two-level PKI, public infrastructure, starting with a factory certification authority. It's dedicated for registration process, and then you have a second public infrastructure that's for online communication only, and you have what people do today with security, like mutual TLS. So there are not too many open source projects I know that are running connectivity on mutual TLS, and obviously OpenID. And the third thing saying about Nexus, that it's running software, right? So it's designed and implemented to be running, right? So you see the screenshot of the documentation, how deployed that one, and how it looks like. You can imagine how it runs. It's leveraging Terraform for infrastructure deployment, and doing what you do for deploying computing workloads. And there's a useful example code for the vehicle side, and also for leveraging the data in the cloud. Okay, so this is Nexus in a nutshell. If you want to have a picture, take that. You can find it also on GitHub. So it's more items on it, so maybe not that simple to read, but you see basically what I've shown you on the previous slides. On the left-hand side, you see the vehicle part with what we call a Nexus in vehicle SDK, where we have this example code in Python and in code in Go. We have Go code, right? And the left-hand side of the cloud is actually the things we developed, right, for Nexus and what's open source. And the big table things give you the option either go with Google Stack or deploy your own workloads like Elhs or what you could do, right? So I will come to this point. So yeah, 5 minutes, that's good. Let's go now with the main part of this talk about the Eclipse SDV architectural patterns. So first on the kind of obvious slide as what I call here mutual contribution patterns. So what we already started, I will show it to you tomorrow, right? So maybe if you want to know more about Nexus, just ask me or join tomorrow the hands-on session, or right. That's our. But the point is here that we are started supporting Cuxa and our Covisa VSS, right, and say digital auto things, and I will show you also what some other ideas we have, right, and so we can obviously also imagine as we did by today contribute things that might support Nexus also to existing Eclipse SDV projects, right? So and people you maybe know are from they were contributing to your protocol, they designed that stuff and also implemented it as well from Valtech Mobility. Okay, now don't shoot the diagrammer. Okay, so this is our Nexus in a very nutshell, right? What it is about, and now there's coming tons of diagrams, right? And so don't shoot me, the diagrammer, if there's something wrong, right? This is work in progress, and so I'm happy to hear your feedback. I'm touching any of your projects, right? So there are, I think, 6, maybe 5 or 6 projects I want to talk about, and so that you have a pattern to recognize. So, right, there's no icons or whatever on it, right? Nexus, in a nutshell, it's simply your in-vehicle part of software, right? That's connecting securely with the cloud. We having the messaging part in the cloud, and we having cloud storage, right? Right, that's it, right? Very simple in a nutshell. So my first architecture pattern covers, too many projects, right? But it's a very, very simple one, obviously. So you recognize on the bottom part of the slide what I've shown you on the previous one, right? With one difference, right? There is now something what it's called VSS app, right? So this is a terminology of VApp I know from digital.auto, from Autorex, and if you so Cuxa is basically designed to be integrated or seamlessly integrated with Nexus SDV, as this provides what Nexus SDV wants to have data, right? And so that you will need obviously the VSS app on the one hand, it is our Cuxa client, and on the other hand, it understands the protobuf format and the security standards and communication patterns of Nexus SDV, right? And I will show you tomorrow the right side, the VSS ZIM, that it's working with the Cuxa broker as it's open source available, or that can be downloaded from our Docker. And right, but it's I had also some discussion with Christian, right? It could be also added here, but I think you get it, right? It's quite a simple one. We're sending telemetry down. I think there are also a couple of blueprints that cover that place, right? So it's a introductory one. Similar pattern applies to OpenSOVD, right, or SOVD. So there are, if we take a simple view, we have now the arrow that goes also back, right? So I'm not that sure whether it makes sense also to do some writing actions on Cuxa. Maybe yes, right? I know project where the vehicle connector is also having some write context, but here in an SOVD, right, you might want to start some diagnosis operations or whatever, right? Or whatever actions OpenSOVD gives you, you might want to launch them from the cloud, right? So it could be some kind of personal interaction of any user or any state change or predictive maintenance or event you recognize. Could be anything, right? It's also a simple one, and obviously we have those SOVD resources. So let's have a little more detailed view on that, right? So it tells you basically the same, but now it respects the process of authentication on the SOVD server, and then the Nexus agent would then, after doing the security, do the capability lookup discovery, what kind of data, what kind of action is available, and do basically the job you want it to do, right? So here you have our more detailed understanding what the Nexus in-vehicle SDK would be needed to be extended, right? Let's then have a look into security. Okay, so you remember the slide I've shown you in the beginning of Nexus, so the small one now. So Nexus is designed that way, right? You can ask me later, maybe I'm good in time, so I can explain a little more, but it obviously does not provide the factory CA, right? The name says it has to be provided by the OEM, right? But the running software is designed and set up that way, right? That it's like there, right? And we have some ways how to make it, right? That they can be then exchanged in production projects with a real certification authority, right? That could be maybe kind of online certification authority in the cloud, or could be also someone that the OEM runs, right? And the point here is, I think you get it on the right side, that it's assumed for secure communication of the whole chain that we need one chain of trust, right? For the cloud part, and also for Cuxa broker or for the OpenSOVD server, right? So this is what we assume here, and I'm quite optimistic we could provide it, especially for Cuxa, as I had deeper look into it, and it's that as Nexus runs also with JW token. So assumed, right? We have the same factory certification authority for Nexus as well as for Cuxa OpenSOVD. We are able to make Cuxa checking the JWT token or JOT token, and we are also capable of setting up the mutual TLS communication. I'm not that sure whether it's the way to run, right, MTLS inside the vehicle, but you can maybe tell me better, right? But there's something can be decided later by, but it depends how you set up the security architecture. What is good standard that you have your main CA, and then you have your sub CAs, right? That trust each other. If we want to get any deeper, right, to have our understanding how it works in reality, or very close to it. So take this example of a JOT token where our Cuxa would, for instance, in this example, right, open as OVD, trust either, let's say, the key ID, right, and do the open ID discovery, and approve, right, and verify this token. Or there could be also a more static approach where you publish the public keys, right, on the vehicle. Obviously, you have a kind of our key management system on your HSM, right? And on the right side, you see the our PUXA permissions, right, the scopes, and so this is the pattern how the authorization would run then, that you can set up authorization rules, right, or policies, read write for any single signal. What's crucial to OEMs, right, not simply to push everything to the cloud, but to be able to control it. This is basically about our CUXA and our OpenSOVD, so I think you get understanding how the security pattern of our Nexus is. Right, it's just standard, right? It's not Nexus, it's just standard what we have here. And so let's have a look on other projects from Eclipse SDV. This is again, I think, a quite simple picture. So if I would have be talking to Oliver up front, right, I would maybe change the arrows, right, because you were talking about the case where the how did you call it, Ankyos intelligence, yes, is just calling the LLM in the cloud, right? That could be kind of signal that goes down, right? And here I have an example, right? The point is here that it's maybe not that straightforward to say why our cloud should control Nexus, right? But why the cloud should control Ankyos, right? And here in this case, you can imagine that again, because of our personal or interaction, right, with a mobile phone or whatever, someone wants to control the vehicle, or again, you have a predictive maintenance case, you want to launch a specific workload in a specific vehicle, right? This is what Ankyos is for, and in the cloud you have the compute power to do whatever computation you want to recognize that this is the right thing to launch this workload. So in this example, right, the Nexus agent would be an Ankyos client implementing that example, what I was showing you on, and you guys know quite well about Ankyos, how it works. So I like this case a lot, as I did many OTA over-the-air update projects in my life, and this is kind, for me, it feels kind of efficient, right, as I could just start and stop processes. Maybe I don't need an update, right? Daniel and Kai. So this was the hardest slide to me. I was talking maybe 1 hour with Jan about it, and I made it simple. So if I come back to the slide, right, about our needed contributions, so obviously that example would be something where, you know, if someone say it's a good reason and we want to have it, right? So this is obviously kind of rational, right? That we should have a good reason to do it. But as nets, it's quite similar to MQTT, right? Could be, so this is what I discussed with Jan, right? That we could then, based on MQTT transport, define a nets transport, and also that this UStreamer. I hope you liked that example. So for us, it looks like rational, right? Imagine then you have a new entity in the vehicle, right? It's speaking some IP, and then it's it chooses or then another new entity wants to talk to with, right? And then we have those transports that is mapping the some IP address, right, or context to something what could look like the UPv1, right? This is in nets, they call it subject, right, and call it topic. They call it subject. Don't ask me why, right? it's something like that. And there could be also some nice feature. There could be maybe some potential for efficiency, but the MQTT transport could be simple, leveraged, reused here. And so if I understand U protocol correctly, I hope I do a little bit. So the U entity in the cloud wants to speak U protocol, right? So it understands the address, or where it has been addressed, and understands the message and could go back. Okay, this is a very hard one, right? but it's everyone talks about escorts, so I do as well. So it's the first project. I don't give you a diagram for it, as we have to step back, right? As ESCO is very clear that it's not planned to support cloud applications, and the TCU framework is also not on the agenda, right? But anyway, there's, if I understand, the SDV levels project, right? So starting with SDV level 1, any SDV is connected vehicle, so ESCO vehicles needs also to be connected, right? So here's a opportunity. Again, the question, does someone is interested and want it, but if you want it, right, there's an option to closing the cloud gap for ESCO and giving a kind maybe of prototype for TCU framework, right? And here are the Nexus in the vehicle SDK that consists of the kind telemetry collector, or for more active workloads that would be then maybe called agent, right? And then you have those two pieces like security agent and cloud agents. They are kind of Nexus standard, where we define what I told you, that stuff with certification authority and the chain of trust and everything. So this is implemented in the security agent and cloud agent, and you can see how it's supposed to work, and really works on a GitHub repo with the Python example, and I will show you tomorrow also the code, how it runs, and how it seamlessly works in the first step for Cuxa. And what's maybe interesting here, that Nets is supporting also Rust, right? So there's could be maybe that right programming language for the ESCO community, and in a case there would be a plan for production, so TSF, or maybe the ESCO security process could be applied then, right? Last one, that slide, my colleague Stefan gave to me. So it's look a little different, and I like it. Anyway, so here you can see how Nexus support to be leveraged from different perspective. So you have that thing, like the data, or the cloud workloads, right? That runs on Kubernetes, and you have the database. And here's exactly the place, where you've seen on the architecture slide where Vertex AI was placed. That would be exactly the place, if you use our Nexus and you want to write our AI agents. It's great also to use Eclipse Elhs here, and as you see also the arrows, what Stefan told me, that Eclipse Elhs is supposed to use multiple LLMs and also some other open source project, like here the Open HAB for home automation. Okay, that's basically is my talk. So the takeaway is kind of obvious, right? That you got some ideas how the very new project, right, is in my opinion complementing what I know from Eclipse. And if you are interested in those diagrams or whatever, just get to me. They are man-made source code, so it's somewhere on my hard disk. And stay in touch on Eclipse Slack, or drop me an email, or I'm also on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Maybe if I may, so those of you from the community knows it already, but just to provide some context. So I think Nexus can be a really good tool, particularly if it lowers the barrier for entrance, because it does explain how do things hang with one another. But just so you know, and most of you already do, I mean, this is, the code per se is open source. It is a single vendor open source, and it doesn't have a collaboration to it. So as long as I know, if you're not a partner, you cannot contribute to the project. But anyway, I think as long as we remember that, it's a good tool to be used. And if you stick around tomorrow, please join the hands-on session. But maybe, is there a question? Yes, Ansgar.
the most obvious one, and you already introduced to that, Daniel, is there any plans of putting Nexus in a neutral governance?
To be honest, and I am honest, by now I don't believe, right? As we collaborate here with Google, and as I understand Google, they are quite strict to that, right? But it's Apache 2.0 license, and you are invited, right, to raise our issues and so on, and also feel free to contribute. So I promise you, if you put any pull request into the repo, we will have a look into it. Right, so we are the guys, we are here the guys who, Lars and myself, some other guys who doing the job, and we having quite good. I cannot say nothing better about Google, right? We have at least much better than some OEMs, right? I don't want to mention, right? But so it's a in very interesting engineering collaboration. But yeah, the answer to your question is so my opinion. So yeah, it helps also to have this great brand with us, and I told someone, right, so you can ask me, there's a kind of coincidence how this collaboration started 1 year ago, right? We didn't push active for that, but there was a kind of situation, and we just took it.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Oh, question from John.
So the logical follow-up to those sort of series of questions, which probably won't surprise you at all, the question I'm about to ask. Before I ask it, though, I will say, conceptually, love what you're doing, like the focus on the cloud aspect and how it can interact with the vehicle. Architecturally, all makes sense. Love the fact that it's all focused on architecture patterns. Have you, Valtech, given any thought to implementing the same concept in such a way that it could be used with more than just the Google Cloud? Because technically there's nothing that particularly forces it to be Google Cloud. It could be implemented on other clouds.
Yeah, simple question, simple answer, yes. Yeah, we would. No, the point is here maybe, so I expected a question like that. Remember my third slide about running software, right? So you have to deploy, right? Whether you develop software, you want to deploy it on operating system. And if we collaborate with Google, it's quite obvious that we put it on Google Cloud, right? And it was very important to us to have a running software. So you have to pay to Google if you want to use it, right? Or to have a kind of contract with them. But coming to your question, everything except Bigtable is open source thing, right? And Bigtable is a column family database, and there are also others like Cassandra or so on, right? So it could be re-implemented, right? And feel free to reach out to us. We love this concept, and I forgot to mention it. Sorry for that. Jan Jongen and myself, we got inspired also by you guys to do it, right? And we had very interesting conversation with Google, and they kicked us in the ass that it will be open source project, right? So it wouldn't be open source. It wouldn't be then, right? Maybe. But yeah, so thank you also here. We got inspired for that, and we hope it's valuable and helpful. Right? The point is it's very thin, right? So it's like it's supposed to be just in the beginning, right? To get feedback from community whether it's the right way to go.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. And whomever wants to have a look at the demo, please do so tomorrow. So thank you again.
Thank you, Sarah.